Hey guys, what is going on? It is Tuesday, May 20th, and I am hopping on for a podcast. Haven't done one since before my 35th birthday, so I am currently 35 and 5 days, and I am picking a topic by Charmsy, who I'm a fan of on Instagram, and I liked her topic. There were a lot of good topics tonight, and I did screenshot a bunch of them, so I hope to do them in the future. But this one is about life goals versus age, societal standards versus reality, and sort of just a hodgepodge of business, marriage, starting a family, etc. And so I understand that this is a very sensitive topic for women, especially women of color as well, because there's this huge stigma that looms over our heads that, we don't get married. Everyone gets married sooner than we are. And so I understand the pressure. And I want you to know, number one, that everyone is marrying later in life. It's not just Black women. I think it's very unfair to put those kinds of statistics out that, like, you simply aren't getting married when everybody, this is times are different. Women couldn't earn as much money as men could back in the day, and now you can. So your reasons for getting married are different, where it may have been a business decision before so that you can live a better life. It's maybe more of a genuine, authentic decision of really finding the right person for you because you can support yourself. Tons of things we can go over, but I got my 5 little points going. And the first point that I have is understanding time. And the thing about time is that you are the sum of your experiences. And if you really take a look at people who have succeeded, it's easy to get fascinated with the really young people who have succeeded, and that's typically celebrities versus really looking. If you look at, true success, the millionaires, billionaires, you look at that list, there's not a lot of young people on that list. And I know that people probably perceive me as young, but I consider myself to be, I wouldn't say that I'm old, but I would definitely say that I am experienced, meaning that I have probably had, 3 pages worth of jobs on a resume. I have had my heart broken a bunch of times. I've lived with someone and it didn't work out. I have been so convinced that something was right and it was wrong. I have been absolutely humiliated and embarrassed, but I'm better for all of that. And so I'm not looking to live this perfect, charmed, hey Charmsy, life. I'm looking to live a life rich with experiences, good and bad, so that I can make some really great decisions. And what I don't know if I've ever shared this before, but I've always been very clear in my head and in my heart that I am so glad that I didn't achieve success any sooner than I did, because I'm certain that I wouldn't have had the maturity, and I barely had it when it started. I'm sure if you have followed me, and if you Google, there's some not nice things that I've said, because I was barely on the cusp of just like the maturity required to deal with this kind of stuff. If I were in my 20s, I can see how I would have easily sabotaged myself and not having the wherewithal to say, you know what, I should probably go get some help and have somebody work with me through this. And so I think that we have to spend time getting mature, going through experiences and really being able to understand what's good, what's bad, what deserves our attention, what doesn't. And that all comes with time. And so I have in my note, time is good. I also think that people should use their time wisely. If you're single now and you don't have children and you have nothing going on, there's no reason why you shouldn't be out, networking, bumping your head, doing every single thing you can, because you have the energy, you have the desire, and as you age, I mean, listen, I'm 35 now, and I just laughed. I said, I was shopping recently, and now when I look at clothes, I'm like, oh my God, that looks so comfortable. Like, I definitely understand that, there was a time when I liked it short and tight and cute and everything, and now I'm like, I think about, I've traveled a ton, I walk around, I get to New York and I go straight into meetings. The last thing I'm thinking about are the sexiest pair of heels. I'm like, do those jeans look cute and professional yet feel comfy? I'm thinking about my feet and I'm thinking about my back. I'm thinking about, if it's hot, am I gonna sweat? So do I need something with wicking abilities? I mean, it's just like, as you age, it gets different. It gets harder. You're not going to be as quick and as fast. So I say, use your time and your youth wisely. Um, if you haven't made any major mistakes, go ahead and make your major mistakes now. And if you feel like, I always say this, it's like, and I'm so serious, if you feel like you are on a sinking ship, if you're at the wrong job, you're in the wrong relationship, you're in the wrong group of friends, get your ass off of it right now. Like, you can't fix anything that's sinking. You cannot fix a sinking ship. Okay? So, oh, I'm just gonna wait it out and all this and that. If you feel like it's not right, it's not gonna be any better in 15 years. And I know someone will beat me up because things can change or your attitudes change. And if you know what, if it's gonna be right in 15 years, whether you stay or whether you walk away, it'll be right on its own. So whatever's not serving you, move past that. And the thing about time is that it never runs out until you're gone. You can always correct a mistake. You can always make up for, something you did. And if you can't, then it wasn't meant for you and it wasn't designed for you. And so you don't need to sit around beating yourself up. It's like, this wasn't designed. Your path is like a puzzle. And so if somebody steps out or something moves out, let it go, because it's clearing your way to hop to the next stage. So that's that on understanding time. The next thing that I want to talk about, my second point, is the beauty in aging. There's so much wisdom that you gain in aging, and so much kind of this like quiet maturity. I used to pop off. I used to go off on people. I have an occasional moment, but you're gonna gain wisdom. And I'll tell you something. The number one thing that I look for when I'm like interviewing people and I'm looking at recommendation letters and I'm just talking to them. You know what I'm looking for them to say? Maturity. Maturity can't be beat, because maturity is not something that everyone has, and it's not age exclusive. You can be a mature 20-year-old and you can be an immature 60-year-old or 50-year-old. You know what I mean? So it's like having that maturity, being a grown up, is just unbeatable. And my one point that I have that I want to star is that, learn to live in the moment. I'm going to incorporate a question, a small question that I got that I really liked is in this topic, is that it's so easy to start looking around at all these people on Instagram and all these people, on YouTube and these blogs and social media, and start comparing your life. And so I'll look at some people's pictures and I'll say, you notice that they may have all these cute pictures, but like you never see the inside of their house. When people are truly successful, success bleeds. Understand me? Success bleeds. So everything that a successful person has will show, from the way they look to the way they speak to, the things they have. And I don't want you to think this doesn't mean Louboutins and this and that. Success bleeds and you can see it. And so if something, is cropped and edited and all of this, it's not for you to believe. And it's so easy in this little tiny, what is it, 600 by 600 size, pixelation photo. It's so small. It's so easy. And understand that there's a storytelling element to some of this stuff. And some people really get off on creating a fantasy, until they have their reality. And you can't knock somebody for doing that. I can go back to like my very first Instagram picture when I was living in, I would say maybe 2 or 3 houses ago. And my house was not as fabulous, but honey, let me tell you, those pictures were, and I had some cute stuff. But I captured my life until I had the life I wanted. And so that's what you have to remember when you're doing these things, is that some people are capturing these things until they get the life that they want. We can't knock them for that. And so live in your moment. You know what I mean? Your moment is so amazing because you are curious. If you're even listening to this, you are curiously alive, and you can't beat that. You are wondering what's next. And as long as you are passionately curious, this life is so amazing for you. And I guarantee you, you're going to have your moment, but it's impossible to have your moment when you're so busy looking around at other people's moments. It's like, I don't compare myself to others. I don't compare moments. I'm very happy with what I have accomplished, but I have been hopelessly optimistic my entire life. And so I encourage you to do the same and be the same, and know that, like, sometimes it takes people 10 years, sometimes it takes them 20, sometimes it takes them 2 months. That's the thing about timing, is that you just never know. And also remember that people's moments don't last forever. It's rare that someone has the moment that lasts forever. And so it ebbs and flows. FUBU used to be hot and now it's not. Things that you thought, think about the thing that you just thought you couldn't live without. I remember freaking BBD and Poison. Where are they today? Not to say that they shouldn't be around, but that's just the life cycle. Things come and they go. Number 3 I have is society, I guess, and I put societal standards versus reality. And I go, who is society exactly? Society might be your parents, society might be your coworkers, it might be your extended family. And I'm reading this book right now. If you follow me on Instagram, it's Mistakes I Made at Work, edited by Jessica Bacall, and it's got some of my favorites, Cheryl Strait being a top. And I read this and I highlighted it, and I'm going to share it with you in terms of, this whole society thing. And so Rachel Simmons, who I think she started Media Bistro, she did. And so she sold it for like 23 million or something crazy. She talks about, this privilege. She says, when I devoted myself to what I genuinely cared about, when I let my heart guide me as opposed to my need to accomplish, I found true success. I learned that when you privilege how you appear to others over how you are to yourself, when you choose seeming over being, you drift away from the strongest parts of who you are. The right to claim personal authority in your life is about claiming passion. And passion is what feeds our most important convictions and values. I mean, I couldn't have said it better. I have been often teased about my passions. If you ever get a chance to know me, you will find that I'm insanely passionate about a lot of the things that you see. I'm a diehard product junkie. I love photos. I love makeup. I love models. I love social media. I am inspired. I am African American women. Black women are my muse. I am fascinated by their beauty, by their strength, their resilience, this light, this fantastic light that shines inside of women of color. And so to be able to have a career that is so true to my heart. I mean, I can't even tell you how many times I cried last year because I kept saying, I just can't believe that I get to do this and I get to have this platform to share how awesome I think you are and to help you, because I believe that no one would help me. I remember I would go to interviews and I would tell people, other women that look like me, hey, I think I'm great and I'm looking for work, and they'd be like, oh, okay, well, whatever, so, or they would let me do stupid things that I didn't know any better, and they didn't correct me. And so if you follow me and you find that I say some things that may be harsh, understand that I'm telling you because no one else is going to, okay? Or you'll just get let go, no one's gonna say anything. I'm telling you because it matters, and you're too good. You're too good to let some little bullshit, kick you off your path or just have you being rejected. So I'm saying these things to you because I'm like, you're too good for this. You can do this. So remember this: appearances, this society BS. Get true in your heart what you're passionate about. And I don't care how silly someone says it is. It's great. Number 4, business, marriage. What do I do? What do I do? And I feel like always be conscious of how the things that are designed to distract you and cause a reaction. This whole Donald Sterling thing. It's like people ask me, what do I think? I'm like, I don't think anything. I have probably never bought an NBA ticket. B, he was not talking to me. He was having a private conversation, and I believe that privacy, people should be able to say things privately. You can beat me up about this. It's how I feel. And I also understand that the media loves to stoke us, like as women, as people of color. It's like somebody said the N word, somebody said this, and all they gotta do is say that something happened or somebody called you something less than. It's the racial thing. They just throw, all you got to do is just throw race in our face, and we're instantly aroused. And I'm just like, we can't just be so moved by that. And so the same thing I feel with all these little specials and these books, and look at all the things that you're allowing to pressure you. How many articles are you reading about relationships and marriage and staring at Beyonce and Jay-Z thinking that they just got the perfect life, not understanding that every relationship with your mother, your father, all relationships take serious amounts of effort, and it's not always everything you see on the outside is not true. You know what I mean? Like, everybody has ups and downs and issues, and one is not better than the other. Accept and respect the flow of your life. It's like, if you're single, enjoy the fact that you're single. I'm single now, and I have a really fantastic time traveling, meet tons of people, flirting, and doing all that good stuff. And you're not gonna die because you're single. And if you've been single for a long time, that doesn't mean anything either. And it's like, it gives you a chance to like reflect and understand what it really is that you're looking for. And understand something about love is that love, you're probably getting love from so many sources that you don't even recognize it, because you're focused on one kind of romantic love. And it's like, there's romantic love, and then there's just love in general, and understanding that you are so loved. Think about all the people that love you. I know that I am loved completely. And so that's that. And then I have my final point, why I'm not married. I've never been in any particular rush to be married. I've never felt any pressure from anyone to be married. I'm not opposed to marriage. I think I understood early that it was such a huge blinding distraction that women are forced to deal with when there's so much opportunity now for you to do things that may require a bit more of your undivided attention, and that there's nothing wrong with partnering a little bit later in life. And there are plenty of friends that I had that married in their 20s that are now divorcing in their 30s or their 40s. And so there's this whole slew of people doing new relationships now. And so I don't think that you should ever let pressure, it's the same kind of entrepreneurial pressure. Like, people used to always say, well, what if it doesn't work out? And I'll be like, what if it does? I feel the same way about relationships and marriage. Like, what if you never get married? Like, what if I do? What if I don't? What if I end up having like 3 of the most amazing relationships in the world, that maybe they didn't result in marriage, but they taught me everything I needed to know about myself. And so I just don't think that you should put so much pressure on that, and that, you don't get any extra points. A lot of people just want to check the box because we feel like, oh, check marriage. Marriage means that I'm like 3 steps more advanced or beyond the girl who's not. And it doesn't mean it. Don't mean none of that. Like, it means that's the choice that you made. That's all it means. And number 5, I have the real. The real is that there's no formula. There's no this plus that equals this. It's just like staying true and staying committed to who you are. Stop being so focused on getting it right and really focus on getting it wrong, because that's where you're going to learn. Focus on doing, and when it's wrong, just celebrate the fact that you tried, okay? Celebrate the fact that you even tried, because a lot of people won't do that, and I promise that you're going to learn from getting it wrong. Success comes from failure. Shrug shrug off the comments. It's like if I had $1 for every time somebody asked me, when am I getting married? When am I having kids? Why haven't I done this? Why haven't I done this? Some guy came to my house. What did he say? He was like, so what are you doing next? I'm like, I want to be like, I have done more than you today than you've done like over the course of your life, and all you want to ask me is what I'm doing next. Some people can never just celebrate what you've accomplished. You have finished your degree, you have a job that maybe you like or love, you have maybe stayed in shape or not, you haven't lost your mind, you get up and you go to work every day, you volunteer, but all people want to focus on what you don't have. And so when people say stuff like that to me, I go, you know what? I am not going to allow, I'm not, for all the stuff that I've done right in my life, I'm not going to sit here and let you harp on what you think I don't have. It's like, that's all people do. Nothing's ever enough. Even when, let me tell you something, no matter what you accomplish, somebody's always going to say it's not enough. Okay, you get married, when are you having kids? You have one, when are you having two? You have two, when you having three? You have 3 boys, when you having a girl? You make partner, when are you starting your own business? In my mind, I have succeeded in some way, but I had succeeded before because I've been an entrepreneur for over 5-6 years. I have had a formal job since I was around 28. So when people start asking me about levels of success, I was like, I succeeded when I wasn't answering to nobody in real life. You know what I mean? So I've been successful, whether you think so or not. But just know that like that stuff never ends. And so whenever the time is right, it'll be right. And you know what? If you don't believe me, look up some people who succeeded really late in life. I shared something on my Instagram. I think her name is Erica James, the 50 Shades of Grey chick, which I wanted to hate on that book. I wanted to be like, you know what? If everybody likes it, I'm not going to like it. But I still got it because I was like, I got to know why everyone likes it. And then I got sucked in because it's so good. It's such a good story. But she wrote her first book ever at 45, So it's never too late, guys. Like, stay encouraged, stay inspired, and I always love chatting with you guys. So thanks for always plugging in with me and keeping me inspired through your questions. Every time you like something, every time you support me, every time you give me a shout out, every single thing you do or say to me pushes me forward. And I want you to know that I appreciate it and you more than you can ever imagine. You have helped me validate a lot of the things that I always believed about myself. And if you believe these things about yourself, just know that you are going to have your moment. And I don't care who has told you otherwise. You are everything you believe you are. Keep pushing, and I'll talk to you soon.